welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a couple of nice, cool, tall summer drinks for you here. We're doing a cold brew coffee and a sun tea iced tea. This is a very simple recipe, sort of the technique for these, and we just wanted to show you how we like to do them. They're really delicious, and we're going to be using the cold brew coffee in a recipe soon. So here's our ingredients. For the cold brew, we have some fresh roasted coffee beans, and we're going to be using a big jar, of course. And for the iced tea, or for the sun tea, we're going to be using some tea bags, whichever tea bags you prefer, whatever brand you like, a big jar, and a big pitcher cold water. So whatever your favorite tea bag is, that's what you use for those. For the coffee, we are going to, you've seen us use a coffee grinder before, but we use it for spices. We don't actually have a coffee grinder. But for the cold brew, it doesn't need to be super fine. In fact, it's fine if it's in pretty large chunks. So we're going to wrap this coffee in a locking bag here, a sealable bag. And we're just going to give it a little crush with our rolling pin. We're just going to break those up. We don't want it super fine. We don't want it to be, it doesn't need to be all the way down to certainly a drip coffee grind or an espresso grind or anything like that. It doesn't need to be that fine. It's just fine if it's in big chunks like this. And we're going to get very decent flavor extraction. The strength of it more matters how much coffee you use. So all of the amounts will be in the description below. Now we do like to make these drinks, both of them, quite strong because we're going to be putting them over a bunch of ice to make them nice and cold. So don't be too afraid to make them very, very strong if you don't mind having a lot of ice on them. So we're going to pop that into our jar. You can see in there about the consistency we've got. And again, we added a little bit more because we're doing the cold brew for a specific reason. We need it to be very, very strong because it's going in something else. And we really want that coffee flavor to come out. So once you have all of your crushed beans in the jar, we are going to pour our water in. Now you can use tap water for this. We have filtered water that we're using for this. Gives it a slightly cleaner flavor. And we're just going to fill that up as close to the top as we can get it. And then you want to get a good seal on there. And a good shake will help. It'll make sure that there's good contact, that all of the chunks of bean are in the water. And every once in a while, you do want to come by and check this and give it a little tap and see if you can get any little air bubbles out as well. Now that's going to sit for a few days at least. That takes a little bit of time. The sun tea, on the other hand, now it's going to go into the fridge. The sun tea, on the other hand, you want to do the day before or the day of when you want to drink it. So we're going to pop our tea bags into this nice big jar, and you do need something that's got a good seal on it. And we are going to pour some very cold water over this. So you want to make sure that when you're doing the sun tea, you're using quite cold water. And the reason for that is, as the sun warms up your jar, the extraction from the tea is going to be very, very slow. It makes it so that it's a much milder and less acidic flavor. So we're just going to pop that out in the sun. Of course, you do need a sunny day for this one. But that slow extraction means that even after several hours, you don't get some of those sort of bitter off flavors from oversteeped tea. And as you can see, it is really extracting quite a lot out of the tea bags. As a couple of hours go by, it's getting this beautiful orange color. And as you can see, we let it go quite a long time. We let it go most of the day because, again, we wanted it pretty strong because it's going to go over a lot of ice. So don't be afraid to let that get a little bit strong. So for our cold brew coffee, this has been sitting for a few days now. So we're going to pass this through a coffee filter now. And try not to get too much of the coffee debris into your filter, it will clog it up and make things go pretty slow. As you can see here, it was odd because the condensation from the cold brew hitting the metal filter caused the outside to condense, and it stopped it all from the coffee from going through. But once we got it going, we got some good filtration going on here. And you just want to let that extract all the way. If it gets a little bit clogged up, that's pretty normal. So you can just give it a little stir and you'll get the last bits out. And there's our coffee, our cold brew coffee. That's pretty much all of the coffee that we were able to filter out of our jar. So we're going to take that, and this can live in the fridge for a few days. Here's our sun tea. Now this is fresh, just off the balcony. We've brought it back in. We're going to drink it right away. It can be stored in this jar for quite a while, actually. So we're going to take the tea bags out so that it doesn't steep any further. And again, we made it very, very strong because it is going into a glass with a lot of ice. And we do want to be able to taste it. So, I mean, our last step is really just pouring this over ice. For the tea, if you like it a little sweet, you can add some simple syrup to it. A little bit of sugar can work, but in something this cold, it tends to settle. And for the cold brew coffee, you can always add a little bit of sugar and cream as well, whatever you like in your regular coffee. And that's it. They're super simple, really great summer drinks. We absolutely love this. We do this all the time, and it's great for just relaxing on the balcony. You want something cool and with a lot of flavor. We're also going to be using that cold brew and some tiramisu coming up, so keep your eyes open for that. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.